Hello students, Mr. Yund here with today's lesson. We're focusing in very specifically on the Holocaust. So, full disclosure, I don't particularly like teaching this lesson. It's just not good. It's not a happy topic. But it's something that you need to know about because, well, you just need to know. You need to know that evil exists, and evil is shifty, and you need to be able to recognize it when you see it. And so that's why we're going to learn about the Holocaust today. So before and then during World War II, Hitler and Nazi forces waged war on the Jews of Europe. Not only did they hate the Jews, they hated what they thought to be other inferior races as well. So you got to remember that Hitler thought that the Germanic people were the master race. They were the Übermensch, the superior man. The Jews, among other inferior folk, like other minorities, they thought that they should be ended, more or less. When people think about the Holocaust, typically they think the Jews, but probably the second most prominent group was the Roma, or the Romani, which are more colloquially known as gypsies, which I linked in here in case you don't know anything about gypsies. So, why? Why did Nazis and Hitler hate the Jews so much? There are a lot of theories on it. One theory is he's actually Jewish himself, but this has never been proven, even with DNA testing. It could be some self-hating. He didn't have a good family life growing up. A popular theory, backed up by research, is that Hitler blamed the Jews, socialists, and commies in Germany for the humiliating loss of Germany in World War I. See, in World War I, Germany, a great deal of the banks and stores, particularly chain stores, were owned by Jewish folk. I think like half the banks were Jewish. And so he blamed this internal reasons for the loss of World War I, not like the soldiers on the battlefield. And so his blaming of the Jews and the what was going on inside of Germany for the loss is kind of like the modern day equivalent of blaming like the banks and Wall Street. So Hitler, he was a decorated soldier in World War I. He fought hard for his country. A lot of Germans did, and they lost anyways. So it stirs a lot of emotion in a person. Losing wars is hard on the soldiers, and Hitler had a scapegoat. It was the Jews' fault. It's why Germany lost the war. So he blamed them for the loss of World War I and thought them an inferior people and a threat to the racial purity of the master race. So what happened? In general, the Nazi Party gained power in Germany. As they gained that power, they took rights away from the Jews living there. The Nuremberg laws passed in the 1930s basically took away the citizenship of Jews. Then on the night of November 9th, 1938, within Germany, the Nazis basically went on a killing spree, killing Jews, destroying their homes and destroying their shops. They broke all the windows in all the Jewish shops and stuff like that. So now it's called, the Kristallnacht, which is the night of broken glass. At this point, they actually started moving Jews into concentration camps as well. Now, when World War II began and the Nazis, started conquering large swaths of Europe, so their mistreatment of Jews spread to other countries. Jews in countries conquered by Nazis were forced to wear the yellow Star of David, like on the first page there, so that they could be identified, and they were shoved into small parts of town called ghettos, basically forced to live like sardines in a can. Now, the mass killing of Jews began when the Nazis invaded the Soviet Union. A ton of people in the Soviet Union, a lot of them were Jews. So they came up, the Nazis, with what they called the final solution. It was genocide, or the systematic mass murder of a race of people, in this case the Jews. Jews were rounded up and taken to death camps, like Auschwitz, where they either were worked to death or killed in gas chambers or other terrible things like that. Some had medical experiments conducted on them. There's the gates of Auschwitz. It says Arbeit macht frei, which means work makes freedom. Now, Allied forces were appalled with what they found as they liberated Europe and the Jews were set free. and knew that basically they had dropped the ball on even letting this happen in the first place. The Holocaust, in a way, kind of sparked the beginnings of the human rights movement. And then after World War II, I don't think it mentions it very briefly in your book, they come up with the idea for a Jewish state, a place for Jewish people to live, which of course is, well, in modern day Israel. Now, for today's assignment, I'm not so much testing your mastery of the knowledge gleaned from the lesson as I am making sure you read the lesson and watching this video. For today's assignment, please watch the following video. It's this guy right here. He survived the Holocaust in a concentration camp, and he's talking about the day they were liberated. Please watch that video. It's short, like 7 minutes. And then answer the following questions. What army liberated this man's concentration camp? And what did this man do the day they were freed that he had not been able to do for a year? So go ahead, look into it. There's so much information out there on the Holocaust. If you'd like to learn more, there's YouTube videos and major Hollywood films and documentaries and a whole lot of places to get additional information if you'd like to do so. So that's it for today. If you have any questions on any topic, feel free to message me. Otherwise, have a good day.